Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another round of the Six Nations. This game, the biggest of them all, Ireland taking on France. Now, the way that the table sits, both of these sides do still have a chance of winning the Six Nations, but one of these two sides at the end of this round could already have their hands on the trophy, and that is Ireland. They have gone undefeated up to this stage of the competition, with the exception of the one game, up against the English, which they were in fact defeated, so that is not undefeated. I'm very excited for this game, as you can probably tell, but it's going to be a massive one. The Irish, they will come out firing. The French scoring massive amounts of points up against the Italians in the last fixture. Looking through at the way that the table currently sits, the Ireland, no, they did beat England, didn't they? I don't know what I'm on about. I'm too excited. But they are winning all of their games so far. 3 from 3, sitting 14 points on the board. The French are the side that I was meaning in terms of the defeat to the English in the last minute. The Elliott Daly try did then mean that they still have the 11 points on the board. England have a chance of winning the Six Nations. They are playing Italy tomorrow. They are currently sitting on the 10. And then, of course, Scotland and Wales, they'll be playing a little bit later on as well. But looking through at the starting lineup for the Irish, it will be Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan and Finlay Bealham in the front row. Joe McCarthy alongside Tyke Byrne in the locking duo with Peter O'Hermani as the number 6. Number 7, they've gone Josh Van den Flare and Caelan Doris as the number 8. So the band is back together in that loose forward trio, and they will be able to, I would think, have a real impact here up against the French, but it is always hard to tell, definitely because of that physicality that the French do often bring. In the back line, it will be James Gibson-Park alongside Sam Prendergast as the 19 combination. In terms of the centres, it is Bundy Aki and Robbie Henshaw, with James Lowe, Jamie Osborne and Hugo Keenan as the number 15 for the French. And their starting side, front row, it is Jean-Baptiste Cruz alongside Pieter Malvaca, and then also it is Yui Antonio Flamand and Gilliard as the 4 and 5. Cruz alongside Bodian and Aldred as the loose forward trio. Antoine Dupont and Roman Intermac will be the 9-10 for this contest. Mofana and Barassi, who has been doing extremely well in that 13 jersey. And then the back 3, Belhari, Damien Pinot and Thomas Ramos. Now, I feel a little bit bad for the youngster who did get to start at 15 last week up against the Italians. But he was phenomenal, but they've decided to put Intermac straight back into that 10 jersey, which then moves Ramos back to 15 here as well. In the chat, ladies and gentlemen, we have got there James Lowe's probably out, by the way. Oh, that is a big hit for this Irish side then, if that is the case. I'll quickly get the coverage up and see what we can find out about it. We have got there, I think the green team will probably win this game. And we have got there, it's on now. Schedulers have no clue what they're doing. Sears Boy 10. So currently only about 10 minutes away. So it's a little bit more till we get to the start of the match. But of course, we are going to be doing a little bit of the coverage beforehand in terms of the build-up, talking about these two sides as it is such a massive fixture for the teams. He got injured. So was he injured in the warm-up? In that case, Banana Lucy. And low out is a big blow. It is a massive blow for the Irish. You're looking really smart in your tie and shirt. It took maybe a little bit too long for me to get it on. But, yeah, we managed to do so. I didn't go with the shirt that I wanted to because I couldn't find it. So I pretty much just went first tie, first suit that I saw, or first shirt that I saw. So, yeah, we've gone with that. Irish, do you have any ideas about French here? They will hold the Irish Bloodhounds. That's the thing. Like, France will come out absolutely firing. You know, they will be aggressive from start to finish because they will know that for their chance in the Six Nations to be a reality of winning it, they will have to take down the Irish here. Off the bench, I assume that they wouldn't have put Crowley into that wing spot. I assume they must have someone else in the starting lineup. I'm just trying to look through to see who exactly it would be does end up replacing. If you guys know, of course, do let me know. But the 7-1 split off the bench again for the French here with Marchand, Siroubayi and Elieri as the front row. Also, Jalange there. Keep an eye out for in that loose forward trio. The previous games for the Irish, I got myself a little bit muddled at the start of the contest, or start of the live stream. But of course, we see there that the Irish were successful over the English, 27 points to 22. And they were able to beat the Scottish 32 points to 18. And then a tough game up against the Welsh, 27 points to 18, though, in favour of this Irish side. Then for the French, they had a 43-0 win over the Welsh. They lost to England 26 to 25, and then beating Italy in emphatic fashion, 73 points to 24. So it just shows you that one mistake up against the English, that one try of Elliot Daly, has completely changed the outcome for the French, possibly in the Six Nations competition. They would want a big win. Of course, yeah, I just think the Irish, or I still think the Irish win here. Their systems are just too clever. The French are all freestyle, says Boyd 10. And hi, Hamish. The Sharks have been pushed to, or have just pushed my stress levels. Now for a big game, Ireland versus France, neutral here, says Joss. Whoever wins this game will win the Six Nations. That is a bold call. And I do think even if the French do win this game, Ireland probably will still take the Six Nations competition just because of the fact that they are going to be playing up against the Italians in that final round. And the French, they will be taking on the Scottish. And have to fancy France now. And Nash in at 14. Osborne gone to 11. Says Scooby. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for that information. And we have got there the suit. Was put on very quickly. Is that stripes on your shirt? I never seen you with that shirt. It is a different shirt than the normal one that we would wear. It's the one that I wore to the wedding. And the reason I know that is because, unfortunately, I popped off the main button. Oh, I think it was the replacement button anyway. One of them I mistakenly lost. Okay, over there. BBC News has confirmed that James O's gone. He's out, says Banana Lucy, and Supman says, what the hell? In there, welcome in, mate. And come on, Ireland. And there as well. Hamish, when you say getting it on in your shirt, I get flustered, says Ruth. And Ramos playing. Ramos is going to be playing in that number 15 jersey. I think Gauthier gets sacked after this match, says Boyd 10. Of course, there is still one more round of the Six Nations to go. That is going to be next week. 3 games back to back to back. First of which is Italy versus Ireland. Then from there, Wales versus England. France versus Scotland. It is going to be the one that does close out the contest. Antoine Dupont just introducing the President of Ireland, I think is the correct terminology. He is meeting everyone, shaking hands with this team. We have got there, what's your score prediction? Have an Irish passport, so cheering for, but cheering for the French. There's Rugby Itch. Is that because you want to see it go down to the last round, Tim? Because if it is, I'm a bit the same. You know, like Ireland, for me, they've started the Six Nations extremely well. 3 wins from 3, but for the last round to mean something, it wouldn't be a bad thing for the French to get a win here, unless you are, of course, going for the Irish. And 20 points to 17 for France. Says Xander, what results does England need to have to win the title? So they will have to get the big win over the Italians, of course. And that is going to be the game taking place tomorrow. And then they would need the French to win, and then they would need a comfortable win over the Welsh next week. We have good there. I love Ireland, but France will win. It's a weekend of the underdog, says Matthew. Come on, Ireland, says Mary. And I see that tie is blue. Maybe an indication that France are going to win this game. Maybe. It was also just the first tie that I found. Plus, if I had a green tie, you can't see it because of the green screen. And we have got there as well a yeet. Let's get it. Says Blues Nate. And also, Allures Blues should be okay today. No stupid dangerous tackles, boys, says Ruth. Yeah, I mentioned about it earlier on. I really want this game to be 15 on 15 the whole match. It's a bit of an ask because, of course, we have seen quite a few times that it doesn't happen. We have got the Antoine to get the first try, says Ruth, and it doesn't make any sense. If you're trying to grow the game worldwide, you should start this game. And you start this game at 9:15 a.m., says Mo. Yeah, it's a bit, although 9:15 is not terrible in terms of start time, to be fair. Like, it could be worse. It could be 3:15 a.m. like it is here in New Zealand. How was Kiwi Rob after the Blues lost? Did he blame the ref? Yes. But he wasn't as bad as I thought he would be. But he was still quite bad. Just time out all rugby spanner or spammers, says Wenmar. And is the French 7-1 going to even be worth it? What if Galtier doesn't even use the whole bench? Well, it'll be an intriguing one. Definitely if this game is played at a fast temperament, it means that later on in the game, maybe that 7-1 could be the difference. 35 points to 17 to France, my prediction, and your prediction. So here's Mornay Lagrange. I do think this one's going to be split by only about 7, to be honest. Bundyaki having a chat there. And we have got there just a gut feeling that France are going to win. They certainly won't come in complacent, but it should be tight. And yeah, cheering for France. Really want to see the Six Nations to mean something for the final round. Just want a high-scoring game. See here's Rabic. Just showing there Dan Sheehan. Right, all the players have been introduced and have met, yet again, the Irish man in charge. And French 7-1 looks too heavy. They don't have a Quacker Smith to be a catalyst. But in New Zealand, the sport is already solid. See here's Mo. So you're talking about kind of, is that USA time zone? Like 9:15 on a Saturday. Like, that's all right, isn't it? In terms of, like, a time for a game. What time would you prefer? Like an evening contest, I assume? What is the France split on the bench? They have gone with the 7-1. So these are the benches for this contest. Maxime Luku, the only back for the French. And then for the Irish, they have, of course, got Conor Murray and Jack Crowley. Just showing their referee in charge is Angus Gardner. There's going to be a lot of pressure on that man to have a great performance with the whistle in hand. Because we all often talk about the players and how much they want to perform, but the referees are the same. They want to be able to get it right all of the time. Hamish looks French as hell, says RIP, and greetings from Berlin. Hamish is a super fast close changer, looking super smart, says Brian. And big game, boys, let's go, says the Rugby Merlin. Welcome in, mate. Keeping very well. And yeah, like you said, massive game here between these two sides. I prefer 11 a.m. Springbok home games are 11 a.m. New York time, says Mo. Well, the good news is you're going to get an 11 a.m. game for the the Wales versus Scotland game. But sadly, they can't have them all taking place at the same time. And if they did, it would be a little bit tricky. We have to get high again. I clean up nicely and quickly. Did you button all your buttons? I did, I believe, except for the very, very top one. An afternoon, Jet says on the right. Welcome in. This is a lovely tune, the French national anthem, singing it with passion. There are a few travelling French fans. I just realised Hamish looks like a cross between Justin Bieber and Dupont. That seems like a massive compliment that I don't think people will find accurate, but I will accept it well and truly. Thank you very much. And hi, says Willem. And Hamish has French Roosters flair, Antoine's cousin, says Ruth. Oh, is this the actual Irish national anthem? I think it is. And the real question is whether you are wearing pants or not. Very easy to throw on a shirt and tie. Well, from the last live stream, I accidentally showed my bottom because I was bending over the table to reach out for a cable. So people who were watching that one know exactly what I got on the bottom half. We are still on YouTube, so that tells you I at least had something on. And we have got there the coverage on Peacock TV actually said 8:45 a.m. Titanic clash like this should be a better time, says Mo. I mean, I guess, like, with the... Oh, there are tears in the eyes of Kean Healy there. Bit of an emotional moment for the big man. I believe this will be his last game. And best 4 teams in the world, or maybe second last, in fact. But now, I've got the second half, Ireland's call, about to be sung. This game was going to be starting at 3:15. It's probably going to be about a 3:18. It's free on RTN Ireland. And now it says, okay, and I can't watch this one. Please commentate sufficient for the blind to feel like they are watching the game, no pressure. That is a lot of pressure on the right. And the game is on RTE2 here in Ireland, and on ITV 1 plus STV in the UK, says Richard there. The crowd are loud at the Aviva. They know that if there is a win here, it's going to be the Six Nations title under the belt, and the Grand Slam will still well and truly be on for the Irish. Irish has the looks of Timothy Chalamet in June. But if they played rugby, and he was commentating, says Powerbite, and Yeet, says Blues Nate, and later says Patrick in there. We'll see you later on. But do let me know your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen. Who is going to win this game? Let's see what the predictions are looking like. I think a lot of people are thinking it's going to be a relatively close one, but some have said could be a bit more one-sided. And the game is also live on RTE Radio 1 here in the Ireland, and BBC Radio 5, Sports Extra Plus, BBC Radio Ulster in the UK. But Hamish looks nothing like Fabio, says RIP. And yet, says Richard, so 50 caps for Caelan Doris and Finlay Bealham, both bringing up milestones for this match. The late change, no James Lowe for the Irish is a massive hit, but Calvin Nash will slot in at 11, and Jamie Osborne, he does shift to 14. We have got there the French 38 points to 33, Ireland 25 to 19. Prediction from Boy 10, France 35-25, and France 27-19. So I believe that would be the same scoreline roughly, or was it? That would be about the same as we saw last week, with the exception of an extra point, I think, between Wales and Ireland. And France 28 to 22 of the Irish. A lot of people picking the French. Out of all those predictions, I know, there we go. Sean has said 26-18 for the Irish there. They're having a low injured in the warm-ups, I believe it was. France 27 to 24. But this game just about to get underway. People are highly anticipating that French 7-1. See how much of an impact it can have. Heart is on the Irish, money is on the French. See is on the right. And Angus Gardner, he will be the man in charge. What happened to Doris? Nothing at all. He's bringing up his 50th cap for this contest, and he is there, out there on the park. Wonder if Ireland will miss Lowe today, and Lowe is a huge loss. I don't think people understand. Says De Colo. And the Rugby World Cup final, that wasn't, says Scott David George. And Ireland 40, France 18. Also comfortable win for the Irish there, predicted from Rugby Merlin. But now the French. We are almost ready to go for this match, ladies and gentlemen. Do let me know who you guys think will be the first player to score the try as well. We have got there, the Irish are unreal good. I've been trying to undersell them for a year, and I just keep losing doing that. So they're going to win here. Make it look easier than it was too. And going to be a one-score win for Ireland. Want to score the first try, says Mornay, but the crowd are on their feet, and the French are kicking off from left to right. The Six Nations round 4 is now underway, and a good shot on Doris, who moves it up to the 22-metre line for Ireland. Gibson Park shifts it right. Prendergast with a short ball to Bundyaki, who makes a couple extra metres. Now Gibson Park, of course, no Ringrose, getting himself the red card in the last contest for the Irish. Ireland to South Africa World Cup. See you in the final, mate. Here's JP. And we have got there how many tries in the first half. I think we're going to see probably 4-ish, somewhere around there, I would say. Into Matt goes up for the high ball, but it's well claimed by Nash. And the Irish have retained possession on the halfway line. Peter O'Hamani going across now. Bundyaki finds Hugo Keenan. Thought about passing, but will sell the dummy and go himself. Gregory Aldred trying to get into the breakdown and get the steal. Wasn't able to do so. Ireland up to 40 metres out from the French line. Some nice early possession, although Prendergast, he's decided to kick the ball away, looking for the touchline. It stays in the field of play. Pinot goes across to Ramos, who was under pressure. Does get away a good clearing kick. Doesn't find touch with it on the halfway line again here. Keenan running it forward. Offloads back. Oh, where's that ball ended up? I think that slapped into the hands of Jamie Osborne and bounced straight out. Offload there from the French. Malvakin, no, they'll go back. It was slightly forward. Bielbarri to score the first try, says Sean. That is a frantic start to this match, ladies and gentlemen. And already we see the injury for Bundyaki. Looks like a shoulder, or he might even be holding his beard. So I'd assume that's the neck. It's having a bit of a problem here for Bundyaki. Just the first contact that he took has rattled him a little bit. Come on, France, you can do it. And also we have got there, also I thought Roof was being random. Doris as also the player's name. But his aunt Doris still alive. Roof says RIP. And Ireland look to run the French forwards around, says John. And that is one thing that Ireland will definitely have to keep in mind. The fact that France have more forwards off the bench, the 7-1 split. So in that case, you want to make sure you're trying to slow them down and wear them out Looks like Bundyaki actually a busted lip here. Looks like he's got a bit of blood coming out of that top lip. And it was actually, it's actually the sprig of Mofana that's ended up cutting the lip. He's going to be all right to continue, though. Tackles from the French as a steam train hitting you. What was your prediction for this game? I think it's going to be close, either side by less than 7, but I honestly am too indecisive to pick who wins. But 932 kgs for the French compared to the 901 kgs of the Irish. We're going to get to see, hopefully, a competitive scrum contest in this match and not a whole heap of resets. This is where Angus Gardner also will want to try and control this game that little bit more. And Vive la France is reflecting trees, but Gibson Park about to feed the ball in just inside of the French half for the scrum. And the scrum has gone down on the far side. They will get the first warning here. Really good this side, says the ref. Right, quick reset is called for. Bag of sugar difference in weight, basically. Says Donaldo Thrumpes. I mean, 31 kgs is quite a bit, though, when it comes to forwards. And come on the green, says Johnny Buffalo. It's a really big bag of sugar. Will France run out of steam? It's a tricky one to know. If it's played at the pace that that first kind of 2 minutes or so was played at, I think there's a chance that both of these sides will start to really tire. Maybe at around that 60-minute mark. Scrum is now holding strong, and the free kick goes the way of the Irish. It was a little bit unsteady. Quick tap taken by Gibson Park, goes across to Prendergast. Now Robbie Henshaw trying to go through. And we have got there, go Ireland, says Bad Rag. And off his feet there against Barassi. And now a little pop pass up from Tyg Byrne across to Arkey. Henshaw swings it wide, 2 metres from the touchline, and it is the number 2, Dan Sheehan, with possession, 40 metres out from the line. Prendergast going off to Porter, making consistent metres early on here, the Irish, Peter O'Mahony. Moves up to 35, all play in the hand, and that's going to be the penalty against Antoine Dupont. He's not sure of what that one is for, but it's one of the newer laws. Where can we watch live? There are a few options. Someone mentioned them earlier on about all the different ways that you can watch this game, depending on whereabouts you are in the world, of course. But your best bet might be to go on the Six Nations website, and then you'll be able to check out the where to watch section. Our home advantage is significant, says on the right. And half a Hamish in weight, says Donaldo. I think you underestimate how heavy I am. It's not quite a third, no. It's about I'm trying to think, probably about like 3/8 of my weight, somewhere around there, I would say. Now nicely taken by the Irish, looking for this rolling maul. About 10 metres out from the try line currently. It has stopped once, says the ref, but it's still starting to march a little bit here. Crowd getting behind them. Dan Sheehan to the short side. Going to be dragged down just short by Gregory Eldra, and the advantage now in favour of the home side again. Now only 3 metres out. Gibson Park will go off to the right-hand side after Finlay Bearlam. That one was knocked on, but that is going to be another penalty just out from their own line. Hamish is really a 7'2" giant. And Mirange, I know you're absolutely right, Hamish, says Eric. Right, they want to go back to the mark. It looks like Dan Sheehan, he's just going to take the quick tap, dives towards the try line, but he's tackled low by Francois Cruz. Fired across to Doris. He's going to be held up here. Great defence from France, and they will survive the onslaught from Ireland early. Now goal line dropout. Doris, he'll be disappointed about it. Alohami and Ruth says, Pads and I, Hamish, this is great from South Africa. Love this format, says Craig, and it is very much appreciated you being here, mate. We are going to be covering the next game on the channel as well between Wales and Scotland. Anyone who's new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Goal line dropout for Les Bleus. Like they have just said, it has to go the 5 metres. I'll make sure it goes much more than that. Doris claiming the ball on the halfway line. Charging straight at Malvaca and Flamand. Now Aki. Nice back line again here for the Irish as they move up to 30 metres out from the line, shifting back left with Finlay Beelum. Now pick and go from Josh Van den Flair around the side of the breakdown, moving up to the 22. Bundy Aki gets round the attempt of Cruz. Now pick and go again from Caelan Doris. Now Murray. Sorry, not Murray. It was, in fact, Hugo Keenan. Big driving tackle from Mofana, trying to stay on his feet in the breakdown. Gibson Park goes off to Porter. They are 25 out now from the line. You guys might have to sort out these spams. I'm on my phone because iPad can't connect to the chat. Sorry, says Beds Ablaze. Are you doing the Reds game tomorrow? We certainly are. Reds versus Crusaders in the afternoon. Gibson Park shuffles it on. Finlay Beelum does the same. It's been great phase play at the moment for Ireland, although that was close to a French penalty, and yes, it is. And disappointment from Gibson Park. Had a lot of position here. We are also going to be covering England versus Italy tomorrow, which is kicking off in 24 hours and 30 minutes time. And then the next game that we are covering on the channel, we are starting in around 2 hours and 7 minutes. And come on, French toast, says Ruth. Right, Angus Gardner just getting numbers here. France or Ireland, says Stuart to Roof. Simon Charity match is now live. Game hasn't started yet, says Beds Ablaze. So yeah, plenty of sport on at the moment, that is for sure. Now Antoine Dupont. That's a bit of a rough pass by his standards, but still well claimed by the French. Barassi driven backwards a little bit more. Mofana, Malvaca. And Bundy Aki. He's once again slow getting back up to his feet. Penalty goes the way of Ireland, though, in the breakdown. Contagious yawn, and I am from Ireland. Says Sinead there. Great work from Caelan Doris to get his hands on the ball. Get himself that steal. Gets a slap on the back of the head from Ty Byrne for his troubles and keep that ball in place. Here's Ruth. It was the tactic that France were using up against the Italians. Last game, they were just trying to keep their ball alive for as long as possible. And we have got, there you go, you Greens. I live in Southern Ireland for 2 years. Fabulous people in place. And I want Ireland to win, says Sinead. And there as well. Already 10 minutes through this contest and the score is still sitting even. It needs attention, says Donaldo. Now Sam Prendergast, normally pretty solid off a kicking tee, and I don't think this game up against the French will be any different unless, of course, pressure starts to get to him a little bit more. First chance to get points. And he has missed it. It's hit the post and come back out. Damien Pinot now will kick it into touch. A bit of a rare miss for Sam Prendergast. I mentioned about it, though, the pressure can start to get to you that little bit. It's an great name, says Ruth. Going to be the line out for Ireland, 40 metres from France's line. They've had probably about 80%, if not longer or more, in their favour. Joe McCarthy, they played his arm, so that's going to be another advantage to the Irish here. Gibson Park. Back across the right-hand side. France were up a little bit early, so that is another offside advantage against them too. Hugo Keenan steps around Mofana. Moves up to 25 metres out. Drop ball. And now they are going to go back again. I think that they're going to be extremely close now to, like they've just said, the fourth penalty. It's pronounced Sinead. Okay, I will remember that from now on. I do apologise for mispronouncing it. Let chat decide who I should support. Says Beds Ablaze. Yeah, I think this is already close to the last warning here for France, and we're still only 12 minutes in. I have picked Hugo Keenan to score first try. Says John. It wasn't a mile off there. Some good leg strength shown by Hugo Keenan. Like Sean Conroy would say it. And we have got there it is. 86% possession at the moment in favour of this Irish side. So if they aren't able to score soon, I think they'll be thoroughly disappointed about it. But now nicely claimed by Ireland again, Joe McCarthy. Another big shot on him. Caelan Norris tries to bump off one, but eventually dragged down. Now Gibson Park goes across to Andrew Porter. I'm supporting Ireland as I feel many of the French players are overrated, especially the young ones coming through, says Power Bite. Now Gibson Park, 7 metres from the line, and finally some bots to ban, says Sebastian. Yeah, you'll be very happy about it, as I know that it is one of your favourite pastimes. 6 phases in, Sheehan tackled low by Jean-Baptiste Grou. Another penalty advantage against France here soon could lead to perhaps a visit to the bin already. Now big shot on Hugo Keenan by Biel Paris. Now short side, Nash. Crowd firmly behind the home team Ireland here. Caelan Norris. In fact, that time it is Tyke Byrne. Back to the left-hand side again. Sam Prendergast goes to McCarthy. They just can't get through, but they have not given up yet. They have to keep trying. The French eventually will want to try and get that turnover. Now quick hands, loose ball. Damien Pinot picks it up, passes on the inside to Osborne, and Dupont in a foot race with Prendergast. Dupont will win it, and France score, but they will just want to check whether or not there was a knock on there. But a massive moment in this game yet again. Right, the ref has to make a big decision now. On-field decision is tried, but they will check to see whether or not there was a knock-on from Pinot. And if there was, we will be going back. And French defence like the Terminator, says Reuven. Ireland struggling to make this through. Referee having some electrolytes by the looks of it. A little bit of that and a little bit of water while waiting for it to show right. There is, I believe, the fingertip of Dupont. Dupont and also Pinot, I believe. I think both of them had knock-ons. Dude has put it in the hours. Kiwi, says Justin. And we have still got, of course, that next game, Wales versus Scotland. Right, so there's 2 knock-ons that they can look at. So, honestly, either of them will be substantial enough. The French is going to lose to Ireland, says Sinead. All right, is the knock-on the first pass. So, it's going to be no try. It means that Ireland will have themselves the scrum feed from about 30 or so metres out from the French line. Damn, says Cameron, but it was a very close one, and also just showed the danger of this French side, how quickly they can turn it from defence to attack. Hamish, do you think it was a knock-on? I do not. I think there were 2 knock-ons, in fact, in that scenario. So, yeah, it's obviously going to be the no try once they did have a look at it. But, yeah, you could take your pick. Dupont or Pinot, both dropping that ball. Knock on wood, knock jokes, says Ruth. Now this one's going to be about 25 metres out. In fact, a little bit closer to the line than I did first anticipate. Hit and hold. Call there from Angus Gardner. We are now ready to go. Dupont. I think that's like a Dupont pun, isn't it? But I probably read it awfully, and Ireland need to take the opportunity, says Sean. Yeah, they definitely want to be the first side to score in this match. Definitely with all this possession. 85% at the moment in their favour. Spam won't even give a chance to scratch my cheeks before banning them, says Blues Nate. Now Gibson Park. Another chance here for the Irish to get something going. Going off to the left-hand side. Quick hands out to Hugo Keenan. Cuts back in, and Damien Pinot just stands strong in front of him. And make it work, French, and 2 quick, says Blues Nate. Now Tyke Byrne. Looking for this one. It took a little while to come out there for the Irish. Finlay Beerlam. First 15 minutes of, you'd almost call it dominance, but they have to get some points for it to really be a dominating start to this contest, because it's no good having all the possession if France are going to come back into it and score the first try. Now Gibson Park goes back across to Josh Van den Flair. And the birthday boy says Blues Nate. Gives him Park. Goes off to the left-hand side to Sam Prendergast. The French rushing up quickly, but that is another knock-on from the Irish. And now Dupont goes back across to Thomas Ramos. Kicks it down the middle of the field, so that'll make advantage over 40 metres. Out from their own line here, Ireland running it back to the halfway line is Hugo Keenan. In fact, Calvin Nash. The man with possession. France over the ball, and they win the penalty. Population France, 68 million. Population Ireland, 5.3 million. Here's Graham. And up Hamish, my money is on Ireland. We will see, says Otto. And whose birthday, says Ruth? It's almost Sebastian's. Oh, it depends on where you are in the world. But for us here in New Zealand, it is Sebastian's birthday. But it hasn't quite hit him yet because he is in the north. Now into Mac. Kick this one towards the touch line. Now France, this is going to be one of their first real attacking opportunities of this whole match, and we are already 16 minutes in. Fiji are the best, says Adash, and of course the Fijian drawer getting a great win over the Chiefs in Super Rugby Pacific. In fact, it was a round of upsets. Moana Pacifica pulling off a win over the Hurricanes, and the Blues being beaten at Eden Park for the first time in 12 years up against the Brumbies. Now ball's thrown in by Pieto Malvaka. Now offloaded up to Jean-Baptiste Gru. Dupont goes off to Barassi. This is where Ireland need to try and get that ball straight back. Dupont going across to Francois Cruz. There's going to be the advantage now for the French. Possession all over the place, 20 minutes of play. Or Ireland all over the place, sorry. 85% possession. Cannot round off. Right, Dupont. Going to the right again. 30 metres out from the line. Ramos. Good defence from Henshaw and Osborne, who manages to force the strip. They did have the advantage a bit earlier on, but I believe that one has already now disappeared. Now back across to the left-hand side. Chance out wide for Damien Pinot. Offloads it to Mo Fana. It's all open in Super Rugby. All teams are getting good. Says Adash. Now Biel Barry has to play halfback. Goes back across. Good hands from Barassi, but a big shot on him by Jamie Osborne. Pick and go from Pieto Malvaka. Dupont going short side. Sneaks through one. Looks for a miracle offload. It's picked up by France, but two Irish players on the ball. They get the clean steal. In possession now back with the home team. I want France to win, says Donaldo. And finally, I'm UO, 3:39 a.m. How's the hermit going? Says Spider Mick. Welcome in, mate. Hope you did enjoy your quick nap. That's going to be Intermac. Kicking it up high. And well taken at the back by Hugo Keenan. Now Prendergast will kick this one into touch. And we'll have a stoppage. You also have African name pronunciation is better than your French, says Brian. I guess that's the thing. French is one of those languages that I have never really got any sort of closeness to being good at. But I am well and truly okay with it. We have got the Hami Churcher, says Rock. Now Pieto Malvaka. It's also more of the case of when we get a name wrong when it comes to a South African name, I normally get a lot of correction, whereas for the French ones, we don't really get corrected. So I can continue to say them wrong for a long time without anyone helping with the pronunciation. Whereas if I get an Afrikaans name wrong, I hear about it straight away, and normally in a brutal fashion. Now Pieto Malvaka, in fact, no, Molfana. Now ball is out, and Doris manages to steal it. Ball is available. What an incredible game. It's frenetic. Again, they keep this up for the 80 minutes. I don't know if they'll be able to. Both of these sides have really been emptying their gas tank throughout the first 19 or so minutes of this game. Now pass back across to the left-hand side. Ramos goes on the outside to Biel Paris. Goes for the little chip, and behind it stays in the field of play. Robbie Henshaw tackled only just out from his own try line. And that's going to be the penalty going the way of the French. Claudette should be online soon. Just woke up. Says Craig. I've already had a quarter of this match. And we can hardly split these sides at the moment. Ireland should be leading. They've had huge possession. But it's the French Every once in a while, we've looked at a little bit more dangerous. We have got there, never change, buddy. Says power bite. And someone has to score for the French, says Ruth. Oh, TMO check. Right. France they're checking this one for a cynical play from Joe McCarthy here. So he did pull back a support runner to then mean that he wasn't an option. Right, McCarthy, he does get rid of Ramos. So I think this is going to be a yellow card. And come on, say it, man, says Rock. They're all great here in South Sudan, Ruth. Yeah, so he's pulled him back. Could be a yellow card. Cynical and deliberate. Going to be a yellow card for Joe McCarthy. So, all this possession, yet they still find themselves 0-0, and France have a chance to take the lead here. Question is, will France go for 3, or will they now try and really put the hammer down with them missing the extra player? Hamish pronounced Crow as either Crow or Crow's Dow with the hater. So, says Bowbite. Well, thank you very much for the adjustment. We have there, silly boy, says reflecting trees. Yeah, certainly not the one. Oh, France are kicking for the corner. They have decided against the 3. They want to now put the Irish under that little bit more pressure. About 10 metres out from the line. They're talking about the fact that without McCarthy, there is a bit of a gap there in that Irish line out to try and fill. Here comes Malvaka. Nicely taken. France will be about 12 metres from the line. No advantage for Ireland joining from the side. France probably gets score now, says Otto. And yeah, they've just bided their time. Passed out wide. Biel Barry scores in the 20th minute. And the French, it's clinical. Ireland have had 30 phases inside of the French 22. France come down here, one big chance, and they score the try. That will certainly be a little bit of a wake-up call for the Irish, but a nice wide pass from Dupont went straight into the hands of Biel Barry. How we over there, Biel Barry, my first try prediction, says Sean. And Iceland always gets away with cheating. Good, they got pinged, says Donaldo, and this is a problem for Ireland, one of their biggest forwards off, says Ghetto. And France show their class, says Stefan. And there as well. 21 minutes in now, Ramos with the chance to add the extra points. And France need to capitalise hard. And Ramos misses away to the side. So the score will now be 5-0. Still in favour, of course, of this French side. Get moving there. Dupont is one of the most accurate passes in the world, says Ruth. And try time France, well done, boys, says Matthew in there as well. Now, I should once again mention the Six Nations table and the way that it does currently sit with how it is. If this was the end score, which of course it is not going to be, but if this was the way that it sat, France would be number 1 on the table heading into the last round. Irish would be in second, and that is due to that points differential that France have been able to really just take to the next level here, with it sitting 91 at the moment. But Dupont inside of the 22. Once again, going to kick this one into touch. Can't afford to be a player down against the French or a team like France. Will be a difficult 10 minutes. I think you're referring to England, says Adam. And the Irish are missing Lowe's boots, says Boy. Yeah, the late change due to the injury of James Lowe could be an absolutely crucial one. They've been told to speed up here as well. The referee not allowing any sort of wasting of time in this contest, trying to keep it moving along. Wales versus Scotland, which one are you backing? I do think that Scotland should win, but if Wales play like they did up against the Irish, I think that they'll be definitely competitive. Now, Josh Van den Flower goes across to Bundyaki. That's a massive contact already throughout this match, including getting his lip split open within the first couple minutes of the game by a sprig. Now, Belbachri It's it back into the side of the French. Ramos offloads up to Bielbarri, who will go for the cross kick. Almost kicks it into his own in-goal area. It's a good clearing kick from the French with the amount of pressure on Damien Pinot. And Hammer Time says, Robert, I like them both to lose. Tired of hearing them both beating about how they're the best, but World Cup equals 0. Says Robert. But yeah, if France were to win this game, it certainly makes the last round of the Six Nations a lot more intriguing. We will get to see Ireland versus Italy, so that could help secure. But that's the thing. We talk about it, how it could be a big win for the Italians. If France do need a bonus point from that game up against the Scottish, that will add that little bit of extra flair and bit of extra spice to the end of the comp. Because at the moment, points differential-wise, France, I don't believe, are going to be caught unless Ireland score, let's say, 70 points up against the Italians. Now, Jamie Osborne with the chip in behind. It's going to go into the into the 22. And the mark is called. Dupont now kicking it downfield. Doesn't find touch with it. Sam Prendergast sitting 40 metres out from his line. So another 5.5 minutes remaining of that yellow card. Joe McCarthy high and knocked back by Hugo Keenan. Claimed by Bodient. Now, Yui Antonio has to play halfback, one of the biggest halfbacks around. Going to the left-hand side, chance out wide again for Barassi. Steps through, offloads on the outside to Mofana, who keeps the ball alive and grubbers it into the 22 of Ireland, who will only be about 10 metres out from their line now. And the pressure just keeps on coming from this Le Bleu side. And Ireland will have to get used to this for the next 10 minutes or so, because that is all the French are going to be doing, just throwing absolutely everything at them to try and get up by 2 tries. Good skills shown by Mofana as well. Ireland defending well for what is being thrown at them. Now 10 metres out from their own line. Media say stuff like that no real Irish rugby fan believes we are the best in the world. Even when ranked number 1, but we are proud of how far we've come in the past 15 years, says Adam Kennedy. Yeah, it is a massive amount of improvement for the Irish. Even just this group of players, you know, that streak that they were on. Something that not many people saw coming. He scores, says Facundo, just the 1 try for Bielbarri at this point in time. But I do think we're going to see another try relatively soon for one of these two sides. No arms tackle by O'Mahony, blatantly ignored. Yeah, I think they've tried to say that it was close to a charge down, but it was pretty late and smacking into the legs of Mofana. Can South Africa have Greenland, please? They can say they have 4 Rugby World Cups, says RIP. Nicely claimed there for Bodient. Or Bodient, as they've said. And how's it, Hamish? Looking smart, bro. Come on, Ireland. Eat some frogs, says Jason. Now another rolling ball here for the French, making meters for fun. I can see the Springboks making it to the semis of the 2027 Rugby World Cup. Intermac goes up to Bielbarri, who's a wee way off his wing now. Ramos. Perfect tackle by Robbie Henshaw. Now Dupont, no look pass on the inside, goes off to Intermac. Finds Mofana. 20 metres out, Dublin is Irish home, can't count them out. And what stadium is that behind you? It is the Aviva, which is where they are playing this game. 27 minutes, which means still 3 more minutes remaining of the Irish yellow card. And listening from Zambia, again, hope all is well, says Yako. Doing very well. Hopefully you are doing well also. But yeah, Pinot just accidentally kicking that ball into touch. But now, line out throw for Dan Sheehan. Ireland by 20, says Claudette. It's a big prediction. But if Ireland can find their rhythm, like we mentioned, they had so much possession in the early stages of the contest. Oh, drop ball from Gibson Park. Luckily for him, it's gone backwards. Dan Sheehan tries to burst through. 17 metres out from their own line now for the Irish, so they do have to fire it back in the pocket to Osborne. Does get it into touch again. Pressure coming down on me. I hate when someone does your tie so tight. Takes forever to loosen, says Donaldo. It looks like there's a bit of an injury here for Antoine Dupont. Right, get off please is the comment there from Angus Gardner. I think that's for someone running drinks on. Already getting sick of it. Yeah, this does not look too good for Antoine Dupont. Looks like the right knee. Just making the tackle on Dan Sheehan, then gets back up. And, the kneecap goes a little bit the wrong way, I believe, in the clean out from Tyke Byrne. Yeah, and just twists him the wrong way. And collapses on Dupont's legs and ignored. So here's Ghetto, and I love listening to them both. They were awesome, Roof. And I says Cameron, yeah, looks like Dupont. I don't know if he's going to get back up here. And if he doesn't, that's going to be the one back replacement used. Is he going to be able to get back up to his feet and continue in this match? Nah, he's gone from this game. That is a massive hit for the French. I'll get him off, says Rock. But now, a lot of pressure on Galtier with his selection because, now you've got the one change that they are able to make in their backs, and that is Maxime Luku. Any more injuries in the back line, and they will have to start bringing on forwards. Luku, of course, cannot be underestimated what that man can do. He is an absolutely phenomenal player. Did Dupont do his leg in, says Brian. So it was a shot coming in the breakdown from an Irish player. Pretty much, I think it was Tyke Byrne. He went in, got him right in the kneecap, and then I think he fell on him as well, which did not help. But without a Dupont, what does that mean for France? Game on, says Mr. Gosling. I don't want to see Dupont going off at all, says Dom. Dupont would be a true warrior if his leg fell off. He still continued playing. Well, he's gone off now. Anyone have bets on Dupont? Now, good attack and run forward from Gregory Aldrit. Almost becoming a maul, but the knees are down, so they have to release him. And 5. Going in almost off his feet there for Tyke Byrne. And low now Dupont pity, and he's off for sure. Can't return on the field. Watching on TV in Johannesburg, South Africa, with the sound off and listening to your commentary. Prefer your unbiased commentary, says Glenn. Thank you very much, mate. It's greatly appreciated you being here. We recently did that game between the Sharks and the Lions. It was a last-minute thriller, which is exactly what we're hoping this one's going to be. Close to the touchline here for the French. Maxime Luku goes back infield. About 30 metres out. Bielan wanted the turnover. Has to uncommit. Which of France's forwards can play in the backs at a pinch? There's a few of those guys that probably could transfer. Nice run forward from Biel Paris. Was he taken out late? Big in goal areas, but that ball's going dead. I find it strange that key players always get injured when playing Ireland. Says Roz, who's sponsoring today's stream. Hamish says Rock, no one at all at this point that I can think of. But of course, any donations, we'll put them up on the screen. And they will be the sponsors. Angus is a great ref, but he performed terribly today. Says Ghetto. And I need both commentaries. Glenn Hamish is a minute ahead of me. Says Brian. So what I would recommend doing, Brian, is if you just click pause on me, then it means that, you wait about a minute, then you click play, then I should be roughly synced up. France, says Robert. Now, it's going to be 22 dropout from the Irish. They are back to 15 on the field. Joe McCarthy has returned from the bin. Now Mulvacher with the pick and go. Ball bounces out the side. Maxime Luku is there for it though. Into Mac. Now Ramos, well intercepted by Sam Prendergast, who goes on the short side, close to the touchline. And now Osborne walking on a tightrope and goes into touch. France win. That split is going to become standard, Hamish? Says RIP. If France win, the overall Six Nations is well and truly on. Right, from the reaction there from the crowd, I would say that that's now an Irish line-out. By the sounds of it, Hamish, please welcome Claudette, Sleepyhead. And there from Craig. Yeah, it is great to have you guys tuning in, of course. That means Mofana to the wing. Where he's played before, says all in the game. One's going to be kicked high by Ireland. Jamie Osborne slaps it back. It's going to be a knock-on from Pinot. A sandwich tackle on Caelan Doris. Hit from the front and from the back. Now, Jamie Osborne, still on the halfway line. Only a penalty advantage. A knock-on advantage. If you pause and scroll forward on the live stream bar, you'll be watching Hamish in the future. Has McCarthy back already? He is indeed. Charged down by Aldrit, but they will now go back for that initial knock-on Here we go, turn on the Guinness, says Graham. Commentators just said these players haven't even got a chance to sneeze at the moment with how quickly they have been playing. It's been such a frantic start to this matchup. It's a good charge down from Gregory Aldrit, but of course the advantage had already taken place. And Prendergast has decent skill for a big gangly lad, says Brian. Yeah, what is he, like 6'3", 6'4" or something, I think he is, for Prendergast. There's now an injury for Yui Antonio, ladies and gentlemen. Another player going down from some breakdown contact. Hamish doesn't suffer from future shock, says RIP. All right, 8 minutes remaining in this first half, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have a scrum once he makes his way back to the feet. Right. Referee has just pretty much said to Gregory Aldrit, like, as much concern as you have at the moment. He said, as unfortunate as injuries are, sadly, they do happen in rugby and not everything is foul play. I want to see Miafu at fly half, says Power Bite. I back France in the Six Nations, but they are not good enough for a 7-1 split, says Neville. Now Gibson Park. Gonna feed this one in. Referee just saying we haven't had a scrum for a while. 7-1 split. Yep, off the bench. They have got 7 forwards, 1 back here for the French in this contest. And they did do it last week up against the Italians as well. Although this week they've had to make that change early with Dupont going off injured. Now, Gibson Park going to Sam Prendergast. Across there, Henshaw pops it in behind Aki. Osborne looking for the grubber. It's going to be bouncing awkwardly, but it sits up beautifully for Nash. Gets it back to Osborne. Tries the pass, gone through the Irish hands, but Henshaw is back to clean it up. We have got the Ireland dirty cheating. They always get the rub of it. Gardner needs a spine. Told the Irish 6 times, slowing down the game. Line out time, no arms. Clean out on Dupont. Gale charged down twice by Omani. Going to be kicked in behind now. France with Ramos. Does get it into touch, and they will go back for a penalty in favour of Ireland. It's Bonner's watching Hamish's live stream now that he has free time, says Donaldo, and Crazy French says Reflecting Trees. But yeah, it is Boudillon who made the tackle on Tyke Byrne, who ran through. Right, shot clock is back on, and they are going for the kick at the post here, Ireland. They have decided against the 7 attempt, and instead just want points on the board, although we did see an earlier miss kick from Sam Prendergast, so he will be wanting to get his confidence back here. I can't believe we're already 34 minutes through this game. It has been such a fast pace between these two teams. Now for Prendergast, chance to add the first points of the day for the Irish. Boring, says Mr. Genius. It's the right decision, though. At the end of the day, like, they haven't had a lot of possession in recent times in terms of, or in fact, the territory. So that one's gone over, and it just gives them some sort of scoreboard to work off. And 34 minutes, only 8 points scored. CS sided, yeah, certainly some brilliant defence coming from both of these sides. We've seen, is it 2 disallowed tries? Or just the 1 so far? Might just be the 1. Now, 5.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Will be kicked off by Roman Intermac. How is Ireland playing? They had a lot of possession early on for the first 20 minutes and just couldn't really get it. That's going to be the penalty to France. Ireland with the shepherding run. A bit of obstruction in front. And Ireland just warming up, says Naveen. And now, what do France decide to do here? They could take the 3 straight back that we just saw scored by Ireland, but I think they're going for the corner again now. Oh, no. No, they are going to take the shot. Much needed points for Ireland, says John. And just because French went with a 7-1 bench split, I want them to win, says Bopello. And very fast pace, you've hardly had time to catch your breath, says Lilia B. Yeah, it's been frantic, the first half of this contest. But yeah, Dupont, not Dupont, it was actually Porter who blocked Damien Pinot. Okay, time to block all rugby, says Winmar. We've got Clever, says reflecting trees, but now Ramos. Predicted success here off the kicking tee is 80%. He did miss his first, but just like Prendergast, he fires back with getting his second, and that'll make the score 8 points to 3 now in favour of Les Bleus. Half-time break only 4 minutes away, Galtier on the sideline. And thanks, Matthew, says Ruth. Now, I should mention the next game that we are covering is happening in only around an hour and 45 minutes' time, and that will be the contest between Scotland and Wales. Should be a very entertaining one too. Ramos kicks the ball into touch and seen that clip of Dupont injury again on X. Looked pretty dirty, to be honest, says Otto. Yeah, he certainly got his knee bent the wrong way in that breakdown. I think it was also that little bit of a twist when he landed with the weight on that knee. It didn't look too flash. They're just showing the live standings of the Six Nations table. France would be in first if this is the score at the end of the match. They would also have a point advantage if Ireland aren't within 7 and France were to win. So there's a lot on the line. And we could have 3 teams on 15 points heading into the last round. Honestly, from a neutral perspective, that is exactly what would be awesome to see. And then Scotland would be able to lurk around with a chance of winning it too if they moved up to 11 points. Results went their way. But now, Sam Prendergast puts on the fend on the short side, offloads in to Josh Van den Vlaar, and a big 2-man tackle coming from Bielbarri and one of the French loose forwards. They've gone for the kick in behind there. Ramos, I don't know why France took that one quickly, but from it, they're going to lose a lot of meters. Damien Pinot jogging back, got time to handle it, decides to run it short side. Oh, he slipped over. Damien Pinot losing his footing. Ball almost stolen by the Irish. The French have put themselves under way more pressure than they needed to. The Irish fella spins his leg gamish, then puts his full body weight on the kneecap. Says Otto. Right, there's going to be a knock-on against the Irish, but France, just from taking that quick tap or quick throw-in, probably lost a good 50 metres or so. We have got there, if you are 4-11, that's cool. It's about personality. Says RIP. Right. Scrum option now for the French after that knock-on. Sitting about 10 metres out from their line, so not a huge amount of distance for the Irish to get if they were to manage a steal somewhere along the lines. I don't think France can use up 90 seconds unless we see a couple resets here, which there is the possibility. All rugby balls are developed at as Hogwarts Academy. True story says cited. But now, only 70 seconds left now, so we might see a reset. And then that would get us a little bit closer to that halftime break. But more than likely, France will still have to kick this ball into touch. And Ireland will get the last attacking chance of the half. Standing strong, they've been told to play it. Maxime Luku will go off the back. Does kick it, but he doesn't find touch with it. France is just good at stealing sportsmen from other countries. Surely some good Irish blood in it too. Says Naveen. Now gives it off to Jameson Gibson Park. Kick too far, and the mark is taken by Thomas Ramos, of course, Juan Ramos, the Spanish Sevens player. Not too far away from another Sevens league taking place. I don't wish pain on anyone, but I'm glad ADM or Antoine Dupont is off. So bored of hearing all the goat hype around him. World Cups equals none. Says Robert. And take the point, says Robert Wood. Although now they will be about maybe 40 metres out from their own line here for Ireland. Would they just accept being down by 5 points? The positioning on the field, they'd have to go a fair distance to get there. And Ireland just warming up, says Claudette. Yeah, both of these sides, they will be very much so excited for the break because it's been such a quick tempo for this first half. Nicely taken by Tyg Byrne. Peter Mani goes across there to Caelan Norris. It does look like they're willing to run this one forward here, the Irish. Gibson Park goes back across to the left-hand side to Joe McCarthy. He's to almost the halfway line. Gibson Park again goes across to Porter. And there's an advantage for the Irish. This half's going to be a little bit longer than some would have anticipated, ladies and gentlemen. Prendergast goes for the little chip in behind, waiting for the bounce of the ball. Can't quite get it. They will go back for the penalty for offside. And there's French Roosters holding on, says Ruth. And you place a curve on the ball when you kick it, depending on the angle. Between boot and ball, says Stefan. And yep, second half will be electric, says Naveen. That is against, I believe it was Flamand. And they are huffing and puffing now. Oh, kick at the post here from Ireland from 50 metres out. So if he gets this kick over, the score at halftime will be 8 points to 6. If he misses, I assume France will just look to kick this ball out. Oh, well, Spanner is on overtime today, says Otto. Yeah, it's been a busy one with the spam so far. Blues Nate having a blinder, says Eric J. And where says Blues Nate. And also Ireland warming up pretty slowly. 61% predicted success for this kick. I can see through things. So let me guess. Green, blue. Am I right, Ruth? Says Spider-Mech. Now Prendergast. Crowd have gone almost silent with the exception of a few French fans whistling. And that looks pretty good for Prendergast. That's curled just inside of the post though. And that'll make the halftime score 8 points to 6. Amish, it's frustrating for France. A good scoreline for them. But I don't think you can say they won the half with the power off. Says Otto. Yeah, I think overall both sides will be a little bit frustrated from their first halves. Ireland not able to score any tries as of yet. Whereas France have just got themselves the one. Bielbarri. Okay, the Irish commentator has just said that Ireland have already trailed by a bit at halftime in 2 of their other games, and they've still come back to win it. And that's it, says Naveen. Yeah, very close half between these two sides, and pretty low scoring. I don't think we saw too many predictions of it being that low. Of course, there is still another 40 minutes remaining, and that can completely change it. I get so nervous when watching Irish 10 kick. It looks like he's about to get kicked by the ball, says JP. And France got no chance in the second half, says Naveen. Yeah, I think discipline at times was a little bit shaky from both teams throughout that first half of rugby. To see whether or not it does improve for the second. I will mention anyone who is new to the channel. Of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated. You all being here for this match. And we got plenty more action coming in the very near future. The next game is Wales when they go head-to-head with the Scottish. And then tomorrow, we're going to be covering the matchup between England and Italy, as well as the Super Rugby matchup a little bit earlier on. And that will be the one between the Reds and the Crusaders. Where's my Antoine? Is he coming back second half? You have seen New Zealand players in Super Rugby. Do you think New Zealand will win against France or Ireland? It's very tricky to tell because once again, it's very different stylistically. We've seen a lot of points being scored throughout Super Rugby, but we've also seen, a lot of defensive errors. So it's very hard to judge, if we're being honest. But I'm looking forward to it when it does take place. No, Dupont has a bad injury. He's not coming back, says James. And that means that their 7-1 split, they have already used their back in this setup. So they will have to keep a close eye on that in the second half about how they use the rest of their pack. Joulange, he will still be making his way onto the field a little bit later on. They have got Miafu, Aldiegri, Sirubai, Julian Marchand. Whereas for the Irish side, they've gone with that 6-2 split. And Beard and Conan might be able to add quite a bit later on in this match alongside James Ryan as well. But very fast-paced first half. I think both sides are going to start to get tired relatively soon. I heard that they just dosed the super serum to Dupont. He'll be back on when Ireland least expect it. And he's done in his ACL, says James. And why do Ireland have 0 tries? I mean, they had 20 minutes pretty much of non-stop attack throughout the first half of rugby, but they just couldn't get through France holding up Caelan Doris over the line, getting within 5 metres and then just losing it by getting the penalty against them. Like, they've been close, but just not quite close enough, unfortunately, for them. And, they'll be disappointed about it. Your French wasn't too bad, Hamish, says Stuart. And there as well. I'm going to cry into my coffee, says Ruth. It will cool it down quicker, I would think, if it is a bit hot. And we have got there, Dupont has to go to hospital. World rankings by the end of 2026. 1 France, 2 South Africa, 3 New Zealand, 4 Ireland. Says Mikel there. Yeah, that's all the headlines at the moment is about Dupont being injured. But in terms of the stats, ladies and gents, we'll get some of the first half information. Right, stats for this first half. The chance of Ireland winning is 42% at the moment, according to the odds. They had 60% possession throughout the first half and 53% in the territory department. In terms of the metres carried, Ireland had 469 compared to the 301 that we saw of France. We saw more line breaks from the French, and defenders beat them was 9-9. But yeah, the one extra line break, 3 for France, 2 for the Irish. And attacking minutes, 9.4 for Ireland compared to 8.3 of the French. Tackles made, we have seen a tackle completion of 82% for Ireland compared to 92 of the French. If Dupont's injury is long-term and the rules him out of the Six Nations, how badly does it? Do you think it will affect France? It could be quite a hit to them. Like, don't get me wrong, Maxime Luku has been a standout in the top 14 as well. So, like, as much of a hit as it is, like, they do still have some pretty decent other options in terms of some of those younger guys. But, yeah, not having Dupont, of course, a lot of people straight away say France are in trouble. And one more injury to the French in the backs, they're done, says James. Hamish never shares his brothel stories because he's a gentleman. I also don't have any, unfortunately. France's bench going to come on and play a big role in this game, says Salah. And currently the way that the live table sits, ladies and gents, this is what it was before the game. But if this game finishes the way that it is here, both France and Ireland will be on 15 points, but the French would go into first for having a much better, in fact, points differential than England. If they manage to get themselves the bonus point win over the Italians, they would also be on 15. Heading into the next round, the French, if they score 3 more tries, they will move up to 16, which will give them a large advantage heading into the final round of the competition. And these are the games that are coming up in the last round. Italy versus Ireland. Ireland will be confident they can get a decent showing there. Wales versus England. And then France versus Scotland to close out all of the matches. We have got there, Hamish, your current subscriber growth, or at your current subscriber growth, when will you reach 100k? I would say if we do it as consistently as we have been, maybe around 2029, maybe 2028 if we're lucky because of another World Cup. But yeah, I'd say somewhere around there. But another big factor, I'm just seeing there, tackles made, 40 for Ireland compared to the 104 of the French. So that will tire out the big forward pack. Whether they like it or not, their speed will start to dwindle as this match does wear on. I'm only wearing Spider-Man and a necklace, says Marco there. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. No ways next year you can hit 100k, says Tyrone. That might be a little bit optimistic, I would say. Can someone please get rid of all the rugby game live spam? It's irritating. They have been timing them out as soon as possible. So YouTube button, would you be proud? I would be, but by the time I get one, or get to the point of getting one, I think YouTube are removing the silver play button. So I don't think we'll actually get one. UFC Alex Pereira, he's going to win, right? I completely forgot that was on, but that's happening today, isn't it? I believe. We have got there in the chat for one more injury of the French backline and they will be done. If it is today, Hamish. Says Otto. We have got there, France have got this. And I forgot to, mate, says Otto. Yeah, him versus is Ankalaev, isn't it? Is that who he's facing? Or am I thinking of the wrong guy? And interesting, I see France getting stronger with replacements. You could get it during the ABs versus Springboks tour. So here's 9HD. Would you do UFC commentary? I probably would, to be fair. It's just normally that it overlaps with when I'm trying to sleep because of doing all-nighters. And Gaethje is fighting on that card. Who's he facing? We'll have a quick look. Well, we're at halftime. He's facing Rafael Fiziev, who I'm not that familiar with. Yes, Curtis Blades is on the prelims. Josh Van, he's a good watch. He just goes out there and either takes a shot or gives one. Yeah, there'll be some interesting fights on the card. They fought before Hamish. Gaethje won a decision. And we have got their All Days Sports wife is pissed. And also Ireland leave too many opportunities out on the pitch. Yeah, like they had multiple chances to score tries, and like they will be disappointed that they weren't able to capitalise. Since DuPont went off, our Ireland now playing against Club Rugby. So here's JP. I think it's still been just as competitive since DuPont came off. Maxime Luku, I think some people underestimate how good that man is. Like he tears it up each and every week for Bordeaux in the top 14. And much love to the Irish and Irish rugby all the way from Sri Lanka. Second half, we will see some strong forwards playing. Turnovers, fast breaking from the rucks, etc. Says Naveen. But it was an entertaining fight. Says Otto for that Gaethje one. And go Ireland, mate, says official. My mum's maiden name is Kinsella. A background Irish, Scottish, English here from Canada. And go Ireland, fight companion. I'll watch that. Says Rugby Merlin. And they didn't mess up. Any chances they got beaten by the France or from the French defence. Says 9HD. But then in that case, you would have to say that with the amount of time that they had on attack, like definitely when you say about how they got beaten by the French defence, like Ireland, if they had gotten it right, couple more passes in the right direction, they could have had the chance of scoring. So like they will feel they messed it up. Just showing the highlights of Spain versus Argentina in the sevens. And I assume once that one comes to a close, then we will be back into the second half of this contest, ladies and gents. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are back for Scotland versus Wales just around the corner. I'm a woman from Ireland. Her surname is Donnelly. We can all be a fan of Volk representing rugby in the UFC. He always talks good about what it did for him, where he got involved in the fight business. Because Hamish is the man. He's the only streamer that I double like, says Matthew. And messing up is what France did against England, dropping balls, etc. Says 9HD. And I mean, we've seen a couple mistakes from Ireland as well in terms of their handling. And they've been close to that French try line. Second half, I would say how far away? Probably about 3 minutes, if not maybe even less than that, before the second half gets underway. What is your current score of the rugby game? Current score is 8 points to 6 at the moment in favour of the French. And both teams have made mistakes, but the level of play is still top tier, I would say. Yeah, absolutely. There's been some fantastic rugby played throughout that first 40 minutes. Can't wait for the real rugby season. Says Rugby Anime. We have got there, you're simply brilliant. Commentary on track. Says Ruth. And there as well. How was the first half? Fast-paced. Extremely competitive. But I think that at any moment, this one could completely bust open. Now, I'm not a gambler. Surprise bookies still favour France. Says Otto. I believe Bowden Barrett broke his hand. Hammy says Spider. Okay, I had it minimalised for a second. Okay, 6-8, thanks, says official. So, mate, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. We are going to be back for that next game, like I said, Scotland versus Wales, just around the corner. And hi, Claudette, I'm back, says Craig in the chat as well. But do let me know who you guys think will be the first player to score a try in the second half. I think Ireland, they certainly have felt not having James Lowe out there on the field. And France are going to feel not having Dupont in the second, although, like I said, Maxime Luku, still extremely handy with the ball in hand. I'm rooting Scotland. Surname Lons from my dad's side. So Scotland, Wales, I root in Scotland. And my second language is England English, says RIP. And rugby season in 2025 is 365-day affair. If you're waiting, then I don't know. Says Wenmar and Silky Smooth and exciting gamish. Says Ruth. And there as well. If I had to pick a prediction who's going to score the first try, I actually think that the thing is Ireland need the first try just to give them a lot of confidence heading into the second half. So if it was an Irish player to score, I'm actually going to say Tyke Byrne does get the try. But if it is a French player, I think it's going to be Damien Pinot. I think that French backline's going to get it moving. French front row, first try, second half, says Reflecting Trees. Imagine if it's a draw. A draw would make it interesting, although draw would almost do enough for the Irish. Not quite, but it would put them a lot closer to getting the overall win. You're just showing there Crusaders versus Reds. That is another game that we will be covering on the channel. And that one is going to be kicking off in less than 12 hours' time. We've got plenty more commentary coming up. And Vamos Blues says a Blues name and Ramos or Pinot. And the France says Neville, Doris or Pinot. For the first try in the second half, says Sean and Sheehan. Says Ruth, and France giving away a lot of penalties. Ireland should have taken the points when on offer. Says Dom. Yeah, it was early on in this game, and it looked like one of these two sides might have been getting a yellow card. But luckily, we've been able to avoid that, other than, of course, the McCarthy cynical infringement that was unrelated to repeat infringements. And Cyril Bay comes on and scores the first try, says JP. It'd be impressive. Now, Deshaun Bielbarri. He is the only man who has got a try in this match. This game looks like it's played by amateur to me. Says Music Anime. In what regard would you say that? Because of the what? Because of the attack, or like defensively, both sides have been extremely solid. Now Maxime Luku going to be rolling this ball back. Kick high from Luku, the only back replacement. And nicely taken by Hugo Keenan. Now Gibson Park going back across to Dan Sheehan. Ireland putting it back into the pocket to Sam Prendergast, who will kick it high. Chasing after Robbie Henshaw, slaps it back. Gibson Park goes for the kick in behind. And it does stay in the field of play. Amateurs, yeah, you got to be trolling, says 9HD. I think drop goals are a lost art in the modern game, says James. Not the best kick downfield from Thomas Ramos. And the early pressure is being put on by the Irish. Yeah, Gibson Park just doing nicely to put it in behind, putting Ramos under pressure. He went for the outside boot kick. Sheehan thrown into Joe McCarthy. Now Caelan Doris running hard and high. At his opposite number, Gregory Aldred. And behind Vanden Flair, settle the dummy from Sam Prendergast. Back to the short side again. Joining the breakdown was Kelvin Nash. Now to the left, Sam Prendergast goes across to Joe McCarthy. France are trying to get that steal. They haven't been able to just as of yet. Short side again. Sam Prendergast pops it up. This is a risky one. France getting over the ball. Oh, referee was extremely close to give it a penalty, and that will be now the penalty to Ireland for the French player being offside. Ireland 150 or minus 150 is juicy with the pont out, says Justin. Now we have there that kick went all the 5 metres, says Brian, and Scotland to win, says Claudette. And they are only about an hour and 20 minutes away from playing in their match. Kicked into the corner from the Irish, turning down the 3 that would have given them the lead. We've got to keep that one in mind. But yeah, Maxime Luku trying to get out of the way, but was retreating a little bit slower. Gibson Park does milk that penalty. Can they make the most of it? Caelan Doris claims the line out. This one's marching very nicely towards the try line. Sheehan scores it in the corner. And Ireland will take the lead now. Scotland says Stefan. Yeah, Scotland going to be playing up against Wales in an hour and 20 minutes time. Ireland needs a try. Well, they have just got that exact try. 12 tries for Sheehan across his 31 cats. Let's go Hamish Sudentai. Says Blues Nate. As well taken by Tygburn, and then from there just the rolling maul. As soon as it started moving towards the try line, it was going to be extremely tough for the French to be able to stop it. Well done on the Sheehan prediction, says Sean for Ruth. And nice, says Reflecting Trees, and the Irish coach is very happy. Can't help can't help laughing whenever you say Doris steals it. Is she from Birmingham? Says Robert. We have got there. I don't quite follow your band, old chap, says RIP. Now Prendergast to line up the kick from the sideline and does get it over. Now making the score 13 points to 8. There's the most substantial lead that the Irish have had throughout this match as France fall apart without Dupont. I can't see them maintaining tempo now, says Boytini. It's certainly a frantic pace that they've decided to go with here. And championship minutes either side of halftime, says Dom. It's a great start to the second half for the Irish. They had full-on attack for a majority of the first half, but it's that little moment here that gets them over. Hamish should teach us some New Zealand slang at bedtime. Says RIP and go the Paddies. Well done, says Jason. Now, Jamison Gibson Park going to be rolling this one back again now. Does end up kicking it high. Close to the sideline. It's going to bounce in the field of play, though. And lovely kick, says Brian. And France can't possibly fall apart with one player leaves when one player leaves injured. Currently, the way that the live standing sits, it would put Ireland on 18 points, and that would be enough of a lead to win the Six Nations. They're definitely something to keep an eye on here. Lovely kick from Brian too. He does make it look easy at times, Prendergast. The French will unload the bench soon. 6 forwards at once. Said Barry, is this now 14 games of the drop Wales have lost? That is correct. Probably the closest in a long time that they had last week up against the Irish, but did seem like a really good step in the right direction for that Welsh team. Right, Caelan Doris has fallen forward, and that's going to be the advantage going against him for leaving his feet, not supporting that body weight. And try for France, says Barry. I guess this will teach France for trying to copy us. They will lose. Now, big shot. That looked a little bit high from Calvin Nash to the short side. Gregory Eldred. Luku going back across. Barassi has stayed down with some sort of injury here. Mofana trying to sneak through. Big pick and go from Jean-Baptiste Grue off to Maxime Luku. What an offload that is. And 1 metre from the line. In fact, France are down. And it's going to be the try. I think they might want to check it. But Maxime Luku having a great moment there. Right. So they've awarded the try. They are checking for some head-on-head contact, which I believe they will find. And what a try, says all in the game. And what a start the win will set the direction for the World Cup win. Go the Irish, says Naveen. Right, this is checking Calvin Nash. This might be a yellow card here for the Irish. They've already had one throughout this match. They do not need another. My money's on a draw, says Eric J. And what a try. Says that was all in the game. No, boys, says Reflecting Trees. Right, they're checking this one here. Barassi, I mean, it is head on head. Nash is upright. It's an ugly one. They've said he could be lower, but he hasn't gone up into it. So it sounds like it's just going to be a yellow. Right, they're all agreeing there. Right, he's upright. Yellow card for Calvin Nash. Okay, so today will be 15 games in a row for Wales. Says Bruce. And also, the try sounds like it is still going to be... Oh no, they just want to check to see whether or not it was double movement now for the try too. This could be trouble for us. It was a great try. Says Brian, and lucky only yellow says 1 Pierre Bosch, although now it is in the review period, so it could still get upgraded. The head contact rule is just ridiculous. Says Vitamin Green and dirty play Irish. I need to get it together. Right, so checking this grounding to see whether or not Flamand has gone with the extra movement here. First, initially, it did look like he was short, and then I think he just wiggled under review as well, says Stuart Moore. Great sniping run from Maxime Luku. Then with the offload to match. To be fair, Flamand did take a guy off the ball, so I think that is actually what they're checking for here, rather than... Yeah, this is going to be a no try, I believe. If it's a try, will the conversion be easy? It's not the hardest one, but I don't think it's going to be a try. I think it's going to be ruled out here. But I think that the discipline still is high enough for that yellow card that it will go back for France's original penalty. And maybe not a try, says Brian. Yeah, so it is going to be no try. Oh. Okay. So, the on-field decision stays. Try for the French. The reason behind it, the referee Angus Garner, he has said the reason that I'm keeping that as a try is because Peter O'Mahony, he did go into the breakdown, then retreated, to played a bit of the matador role as the comment, and he said that that is why he got cleaned out. So he kind of went in, then pulled out. So in that case, he was considered a part of the breakdown. But I think it's a pretty lucky one. I'd say for France, I still want to know whether or not it was a clean grounding, but that wasn't even what they were looking for. It seems like a lot is going on. High tackle, croc roll, off the ball tackle, says on the right. Yeah, it's all kicking off in this game, that is for sure. But the result at the moment is sitting 15 points to 13 in favour of the French. Right, Barassi has gone off for a head injury assessment as well here. They should wear helmets just like I do, so I don't look ridiculous. I carry a skateboard under my arm. Says Bruce. And that's a bit controversial, says Brian, and stand up for future calls. Says Juan. So it sounds like Barassi, because he's gone off for that HIA, of course we should mention it's a forward who has to make his way onto the field due to that 7-1 split for the French. Let's try for the French, and it's gifted by the ref. Says Naveen. Now it's going to be kicked high again here. Waiting for this ball to come down, beautifully taken by the Irish. Back across to the left-hand side, Andrew Porter goes across to Kian, or sorry, I should say Sam Prendergast, and that one's gone into touch. A good kick. 25 metres of territory gained. I forgot to pick up the Johnny Alcoholic beer. We have got there, France wins this game, England has a chance to win the competition, isn't it? That is true. And can we glimpse at the standings? So currently the way that it is sitting, just as we are now, is France would be in first on 15 points, Ireland in second on 15 points, and then if England were able to beat Italy with a bonus point in their game, they would also be on 15 points. So we could see 3 teams on 15 points heading into the final matches of the Six Nations competition. We only have 1 round remaining. So it is the business end of the comp, and every point is absolutely crucial. Sorry, missed the start. 1 try apiece in the second half so far. Yes, indeed. So Dan Sheehan, and also I believe it was Abodian. He scored the try for the French. Our brother flying to Napier next week. Visiting some friends, says Birdie V. So hopefully the weather is going to be nice for you. Couple changes being made here for the Irish. Looks like Ryan Beard and Jack Conan both making their way on. They're showing Angus Gardner, which means we might be looking at something else here for the TMO, are we? Oh, this is the yellow card decision. It's going to remain as a yellow card. So that is at least 1 bonus for the Irish, but we should mention they are still going to be down a man for the next 7.5 minutes of this match. Holy moly, the rugby balls, and more specifically the interpretation. The TMO just makes this whole game of rugby unnecessarily complex. Allows les Blues. Says Belen. And Garner's the main character. Says Lenny. Now nice attack and run for from Jack Conan for his first carry since making his way onto the field. Now Gibson Park. Ready to go for the box kick here. Down towards the French 22. Perfectly weighted. Just outside of it. And now Ramos on the short side. Goes for the grubber in behind. Gibson Park picks it up. Happy to hear you're in New Zealand. Good on you and your family, bro. Says, was there from Marco. The French have managed to steal that ball again. Now Pinot sells the dummy. Passes on the outside to Biel. Barry. This is a massive chance for France. He grubbers it forward. Maxime Luc. Oh! Almost a miscommunication between the two French players. Lucu went for it as well as Belpari, but I think Belpari has scored it. They might have to check this to make sure there's no knock on, but yeah, Lucu and Belpari both going for that ball, both winning the foot race. But if he has finished this, it's going to be a massive one. Just a mistake from Ireland in the breakdown, getting outpowered by this French forward pack. What's the French team split? 7-1. So at the moment, they have got a back playing as a forward, a forward playing as a back because of the HIA. But Lucu, pure pace being shown by him. Yeah, Belbari does get the grounding. Oh, no. Oh, that was actually close to a knock on there. And Ireland forever, says Tommy, and I love it when the French get into their groove, says Lenny. And Belbari can be a bit selfish, says Wenmar, and that kick has gone over from Ramos. So the stipulations now, ladies and gents, Ireland and France will both still be on 15, but if France score one more try, they will be on 16 points, which means if they receive a bonus point win over the Scottish, and they, of course, win this game, they will win the Six Nations. Ireland, the Grand Slam looked on, but they still need to find a way back into this contest. And they're a man down at the moment. Nicely taken by Gelange, who's made his way onto the field as well for the French. See Aldiegre is there too. Julien Mochot. Cyril Bailly. It's pretty much a starting lineup. Big kick downfield from France. Poor Lucu got nabbed by Louis Bielbarri, as if he didn't already have enough on the tally. Says Lenny. And Prendergast struggled to get back there to deny Bielbarri. Just talking about the fact that Nash will be back in 4.5 minutes' time, so that is great news for the Irish. Jack Conan, of course, was coming on for Josh Van den Flair. Beard was on for Peter O'Mahony. Now, overthrown Ireland really starting to fall apart here. France in position again. Lucu, big shot on Cyril Bailly. Now Gelange goes across. Mofana. I should mention, points differential-wise, even if France would only win up against Scotland, I don't think anyone would catch them in terms of those points. So we're almost in the situation here. How if France score one more, it's their Six Nations to lose rather than the Irish's. We have good there go France, says JB. Now passing back across. Ramos has about 3 men on the outside, but he will run it himself. Pick and go there for the French. Only 5 metres out. Caelan Doris almost got the turnover, but the ball was still stuck in the breakdown. Have good there, France doing a Greek on the Irish. Now, Lucu goes with a short ball to the big man at number 19 in this contest, being Emmanuel Miafu. And France are going to get their bonus point try. Now a new advantage. This seems certain for France to cross the try line. Ramos cleans it up. That's a high shot from Gibson Park. And France are going to get the bonus point. As a ridiculously loyal South African, I must support France, as imitation is the best form of flattery. And thank you, France. Loving your version of the Bomb Squad, says Nadine. And Ireland don't have reliable ways to relieve pressure, and Lowe's overall field work is being missed. Not just his kicking, says Boy 10. Like they have said here, Ireland are holding on ever since that yellow card of Calvin Nash. They have just been up against it completely. Oh. They're going to go for the 3 points here. This is a big decision. Very big decision because France, I wonder if they realise that if they had scored now with a man advantage, they pretty much are in the best case scenario. I wonder if they just assume that they'll be able to score later on, but this could be a massive determining factor of the Six Nations, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that France have turned down 7 for the chance at 3. They are, first of all, trying to make sure that they win this match. I'm sat with 2 Scottish lads in an Irish bar, getting a bit pissed, says Fleshin. And if Ireland lose without a bonus point, England will win the Six Nations, says Christopher DeVette. Yeah, that is also a very good point. The fact that the Irish do still need to be within 7 to go up to 15 points, as they are currently on 14 in the overall standings. But France are making it difficult for them. And upon out injured, he is indeed. Kick has gone over from Ramos, now separating these two sides by 12 points. French see a carrot, says Robert Wood. And France are using their grey cells. And kick it goal from the Tickle Master. And still time for Ireland to win, says John. There is plenty of time left. Bundyaki, he is off, and that is for Jack Crowley. Now kicked off. Oh, beautifully taken. Under the high ball for Flamand. Ireland needs to come back. 12 points isn't easy to come back from, says Brian. Definitely not with the way that this French side are aggressively attacking. But Ireland, they had to dig deep in their game up against Wales last week. Can they do the same here up against Le Bleu? Now ball is there for France. Round about the halfway line. Going back to the left-hand side, and there's now just starting to open up a lot of space. Anytime they shift that ball out wide, Ireland need to get Geordie Barrett on. Says Crimson. Did the bench come on? They've made a few changes for both teams. Still a couple more left. But they have kind of unleashed them slowly here for the French. I think they might have all of them replaced now, though. Kicked in behind from Jejo. And Jamie Osborne driven backwards. 5 metres from the line. France looking for the counter-ruck. They don't get our Ireland need to import more Kiwi players. 7-1 split doing a number on the Irish. Matt Williams won't be pleased, says Victor. Now Gibson Park. And behind again here. And he does get it into touch. A decent clearance from Gibson Park with the amount of pressure that was on. Calvin Nash now makes his way back out onto the field. There's been a huge difference between when he was last on and now when it comes to that score. Okay, so they do the bomb squad thing. Says Wemar a little bit, although I think they had to bring on one guy a little bit earlier because of the HIA. But Mia Fu showing off his offloading skills as well in the build-up to that chance. And let's go mod, says Blues Nate. Ireland, what's up? Says Ria, and France need a bonus point, try and keep Ireland more than 7 points behind. Says Neville, and currently they've got 1 of 2. As like a mod race to silence that tweet in the chat. Says Kerr, welcome in Kerr. Hope you are doing well. Hope you're excited for Scotland, Wales. As it is only an hour away from taking place. We have got there, Hamish, you're a legend. Great commentary, says Gary Smith. Thank you very much, mate. Aussie Miafu with the basketball skills. Now he moves to only 10 metres or so out from the line. Maxime Luku goes across to Gelange. They're chasing the bonus point. That looked like a side entry in the breakdown from one of the French players, or a side clean out anyway. Ball is still available at the back. Julien Marchand goes off to Miafu. I've been here a good while, just lurking, says Kerr. Now off to the left-hand side again, almost through for Bodient. And shoulder to shoulder, come on Ireland, push past the French, make the French feel like Napoleon, says Tommy. And we're under pressure. Hopefully we can get back with 15 on. And reaching out, and they score the try now, France. That is the bonus point, as Jejo is the try scorer. Like they've said, Scotland The ball is now in their court for trying to shut down this French side, or Ireland need to come back from being 13 points to 30 down. It might even be 32 in the near future, and no team can do the bomb squad like the Springboks do it, says Lilia B. And we have got their bonus try done, says Juan. And first you get engaged, then you get married, says Robert Wood. I'm going to check on Antoine's damaged knee and influence from South Africa is too much, says DZ. And Ireland can't keep up with the French tempo, wave after wave after wave. And so happy for our boys go France, says Chris Ace. Yeah, that game next week up against the Scottish, that could be the determining factor of the Six Nations. Now, lining up this kick. And it has gone over. And Ireland are getting exposed, says JP. And foul face palming right now, says Ghetto. And they won't be too happy with the way that it currently does sit. The interesting factor is, though, if Scotland beat Wales with a bonus point, right, and then if they somehow beat France with a bonus point, they can actually win the Six Nations from here too. Of course, a lot has to go right for them to be able to do so. That was slapped back nicely by Ireland, but waiting for it was Biel Barry in the perfect position to take that one straight back. Tactic tire them out in the first, then bring on the 7-1 bench to finish them off. Says Lily, although they did have to make a couple of those changes a bit earlier than they did probably want to, almost going through, but it's another knock on this time from the Irish forwards. Either Scotland will cause an upset or they will be better just forfeiting the game, says Kerr. And what a pull away. I said 38 points to 33. That gut feeling seems to have been accurate, says Nicholas. Amazing how the European loudmouths against Rassie's tactic are now using them, says Jason. All countries going 6-2 or 7-1 from now on. Let's not big mouth Ireland. They have plenty of time. Still looking good though, says Ghetto. On the halfway line now, France will have themselves the scrum feed. Okay. Asking for a little bit of patience here, Angus Gardner, when it comes to the scrum. They've been relatively few and far between. Far and few between. One of those two ways round, I believe is the saying. Yeah, there's been some pretty big gaps in between the scrums taking place. I love this, says Victor at All Ireland. I'm back to the drawing board for you lot. As potential, France has some good kids coming up. Right, they've been told to play it here. If they don't, they're going to lose possession. Challenge goes back to Maxime Luku. Rush defence there from Jack Crowley, which seems to have done the job on his opposite number into Mac. Now called as a maul. That ball does not come out, and Ireland now get themselves the scrum. Over the amazing score, the French are a problem. And we have got there, Ireland have got one really bad call from the ref, and got to argue that it threw them off. Their game, but the yellows were warranted. We have just let it slip away from us, says Rob. Ireland missing key players, says Robert. Visits to opposition 22. 7 visits for France. They've scored 29 points. 6 visits for Ireland. They've scored 7 points. We've been competitive for 50 minutes. Hard to see Ireland coming back. Fair play to France. Says 0. Sorry to say, I think referee is terrible. I think France are deserving winners, says James. And I won't lose hope just yet, says Tommy. And that is going to be another free kick going the way of the Irish. Jack Conan. Great tackle made by Jojo. If Ireland had their injured players, how different does it this game look? I don't even think Furlong makes it look that different. Says Boytian, now passed across to Calvin Nash. Attack on him by Mo Farner. Skip pass from him. Jameson gives him back on the short side. Pinot just wrestles them into touch. Been some poor decisions made by the Irish. Nowhere to go on the short side, but they decided to take the risk anyway. And a failure to get points in the first 20 minutes has come back to bite Ireland in the behind, says Rob. Yeah, that one wrestled out now. Sirubai. Another line-out throw for him. Goes straight to Flemont. Still another 17 minutes remaining here. I'm going to get told to use it. Hello for sure makes it look different. I just think Ireland would be 5 points closer with how this game has gone. Oh, taken under the high ball for Jamie Osborne. Hit at the perfect time from Damien Pinot. If the punt was still there, it would be 42 points to 13. What's the most New Zealand have ever come back from? Honestly, I don't know. I assume it's like at least, you'd think 30 points, something around there, maybe even more. Now Prendergast. Oh, big shot on him by Jejou, and the ball's knocked on. He's had quite the impact since making his way onto the field. Scored the try, made some big hits. And what a thrashing now, says Ruth. And we have got there French, says JB. This is with Dupont being taken off. France come to exercise their demons, says Boy. But yeah, like I said, yes, Dupont going off is massive. But Maxime Luku, we saw what he was able to do to help France score that first try after Dupont went off. He is a talented player. And honestly, like, without making too heavy of a statement, I think Maxime Luku, if he was given more game time, if he was any other, well, maybe not any other nation, but a majority of nations inside of the top 10, he's a starting 9. But because he's got Dupont in his way, he doesn't get a lot of game time. But he's an absolutely phenomenal player. I think we might see Ligera come back. He is extremely strong too. The decision by Gardner and Omani getting taken out earlier in the second half changed the complexion of this match, says David O'Shea. And we have got there, France probably wanted revenge for their loss last year, says James. Now Maxime Luku going to feed this ball in. And that one is stuck in there, but they will be told to use it. Luku goes back across to the right. Now Ramos with the cross kick. Awkward bouncing ball. It sits up, fortunately, for Jamie Osborne. Kicks it out on the full. Stadium speaker just said someone has their head up his ass. Says 1 and 7-1 allowed the French forward back to empty their tanks, and they've been emptying their tanks all game. Says Boy 10. Yeah, overrunning that one was Damien Pinot. And then Osborne just skew whiffing it off the side. Also crazy that Legatic and Serin are waiting to share the 9s around France, says Lenny. And France have always had and have great halfbacks. And France seems to be a number 9 factory. So here's Jameson. Now rolling ball again here. Inside ball to Damien Pinot. It was close to a forward pass. Went backwards, says the ref, so it is going to be play on. 14 minutes remaining. Short ball to Bodient. Anyone predict this? Is on the right. I'll go back and have a look right now and see what we had in terms of the predictions. We've had a lot of chat in this live stream. I'm having to scroll up a lot. Right, Cyril Bay says we'll take the 3 points for that penalty going the way of the Irish. In favour of the French. Right, we're back at the start now. Where are our score predictions that we saw from everyone? Right, there's 20-17 for France. There was, 35-17's not going to be a mile off for Mornay, I would say. What else do we got in terms of close to the prediction? France 35-25 for JP. France by 3. Yeah, so there weren't a huge amount who went big time in favour of the French. And that's a kick straight down the middle, making the score now 35 points to 13. My prediction was horribly wrong. Says Boy 10. And another penalty. It's all over for us, says Brian. How does this affect the world ranking? So Ireland will still keep their spot where they are, I believe, or they might move into second if they're not already. They can't take number 1. Kicked off again. And it's going to be knocked on by Dan Sheehan, cleaned up by Bodient. This Aviva crowd still trying to get behind their side, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to be the Irish's day. Ramos kicks it high again. And slap back. Mofana. Oh, sorry, not the Irish moving into 2, I should say. I think France would go up to second. I said that around the completely wrong way. Ireland go to 4th, Ireland go to 3rd, and AB's the 2nd with the score as is. Thank you very much, Kerr. Yeah, so France up to 3rd. And with a game still to come, we have to wait and see who finishes where. Does Geordie Barrett have dual citizenship, Hamish? Is that the reason Geordie Barrett coming on for Ireland? No, he's just playing as a sabbatical player, but he's got some roots to Ireland. It's a drubbing now. Says Calmac, looks like Cian Healy, he will make his way on. Did announce his retirement recently, but still has 1 or 2 games left in the tank before he does hang up the boots. End of Ireland, gold generation, France 0.02 points behind the ABs in the rankings. And no chance there's Calmac. And also, will Australia's ranking go up after this? Don't think so. I think they just swap positions, don't they, for France and Ireland. I don't think it affects anyone who's too much further down. And Ireland beat England, England beat France, France beat Ireland. Discuss. A bit of a triangle, isn't there? Now going back across to the right, Crowley. Prendergast looks for the offload. Jamie Osborne tries to clean it up. He's managed to hang on to it. Ireland makes super sub, says one Pierre Bosch. 3 in a row not to be, says Adam. Now Ireland, though, they've got a good attacking chance here. They will pass it off to Robbie Henshaw. Steps round Miafu, still manages to make the tackle. That is terrific work from the big man to stop the Irish from scoring a certain try out wide. Now New Zealand number 2, says Francois. I reckon Australia got to wait their turn. And a bonus point isn't really on for us now, says Brian. Well, that's actually a little bit of a good point, though. If Ireland score 4 tries, they will get the bonus point from this game as well. That one's going to be kicked into the in-goal area. It will be the goal line dropout. A little bit of push and shove there between Ramos and one of the Irish players. I think that is pure frustration for Ireland. Oh. Christoph Ridley. I think they are just checking something. Henshaw can't finish. Ringrose would have scored that. Well, Ringrose is currently suspended. So he's not doing no scoring at the moment. As things stand, the game between Scotland and France will be the decider, says Christopher Vet. Right, they're checking this one now. Oh, okay. It's a knock-on from Bodian, but I don't think it was deliberate. I think it was in the process of making the tackle. Although his hand is out from that angle, so this might actually be a deliberate knockdown. Possibly, yeah, from that angle it doesn't look as good. So this might be a yellow card. Ringrose has a bit outside break, then Henshaw says all in the game. And Ireland rather want experienced old players than young players, says Bandito. It's deliberate. Just a penalty. Okay. So the Irish commentator just saying there that some of the decisions maybe aren't the best. And just checked if France win against Scotland won't change their standing. So they will finish Six Nations at 3rd at best. All right. So Scotland would get a massive booster if they were able to beat France, wouldn't they? It's had a shocking game, says James. Now 5-metre line out here for the Irish. Thrown in nicely. Popped up. Connor Murray sells the dummy. Tries to throw himself. No, that's done from the Irish. That was a really bad decision. And it's going to be held up. That was another one where they just had to have a bit of a think about it. But the forwards decided to join that breakdown to try and push Connor Murray over. But France already had it covered. We have so many good 9s in France. Yeah, see, they tried to drive him forward. And he was always going to be held up there. And basically the reverse of the past year, says zero connection. Scotland would take 3-point boost if winning by 15 points or more. Says Kerr, and Ireland looking like they had potatoes for breakfast. Like a hash brown. Hash browns go well for breakfast. But now Prendergast passes on the outside to Calvin Nash. France have been awesome, says all in the game. Yeah, they've had extremely solid defence throughout this game, and it's made it extremely challenging. Oh, that's going to be another advantage going the way of the Irish team. Rassi is the best coach in this match, says Christopher DeVere. Now passed out wide. Jamie Osborne struggling to keep his footing, almost ended up getting clotheslined by Maxime Luku. Oh, playing the 9 there. Pinot, a little bit of push and shove there between Keenan and himself for the afters. Little kick him on from Prendergast, and Mo Farner is back to cover again. Love a good hash brown, says Bill. They are going to be going back for the penalty. That was obviously going to be held up. Not patient enough, says Brian. Yeah, it was just a poor decision made by Ireland again, and unfortunately they've had about 5 of those throughout this match. What a great game for France, says Matthew. I think the Frenchies made that held up happen by dragging the tackle up and over the try line, says Lenny. Although the Irish players did also join in. The likes of Josh Van den Flower looked like he was trying to push him towards the line again. An Irish panic, says Robert, but they will be kicking this one towards the touchline. 7.6 metres from the goal line. Very specific number. But 7.5 minutes remaining. That is the more substantial moment, or more substantial figure. Ireland need 3 tries. A good Ashes Brown, says Scott. Congratulations, France, says Reflecting Trees. That ball's lost again, but it did go backwards for Ireland. They have still got the possession for a little bit longer. Oh, almost diving in off his feet was Meafu, old Irish Golden Generation. And also we have got the hours of fatigue game. To be honest, like Ireland, I could be wrong, but to me they don't look as fatigued as maybe people would have expected. I just tuned in, as Ireland being outskilled. Are they not getting the bounce? They've struggled with their decision-making throughout this game. France, when they get the counter-attack, have been lethal, which is why they've got themselves the bonus point. Here's Robbie Henshaw, dragged down just short of the line again. Well recycled by Crowley, gets it away to Nash. Now Murray, another advantage in favour of the Irish. And double blow of the whistle. This is going to be a yellow card now for France. We need to try every 2 minutes or so, says Brian. Yeah, I feel like at the moment the win is off the table, I feel, for the Irish. But the bonus point, it is also pretty much off the table too. But they've decided to take it quickly. And that's close. Crowd cheering, but they are just short of the line. Popping it up. Oh, Prendergast throws the interception pass to Thomas Ramos, who will pass it off to Damien Pinot. Sam Prendergast, he has to try and run the full length of the field to make up for his error. He can't do so, and France score again. Ireland is a joke, says WLK, and Alers, says Lenny there. Game, set, match, Ireland defeated, says cited there. But yeah, great finish. Ramos knew he was going to struggle to be able to run all the way, so he gives it to Damien Pinot, who now has 38 tries in his French career. Not a very golden, more like piss yellow. And yeah, great steal from Thomas Ramos. Risky when you're defending on your goal line, but to take that sort of risk and reap that kind of reward. And that one just really sucks all the stamina, all the hope out of this Irish team. Pinot is a gem, always happy. Probably our worst result since 2019, says Zero Connection, and can't remember the last time Ireland got beaten by this margin. Says Calmac and Ireland destroyed, and it's at the Aviva as well. That's the big one. I think Prendergast may need to be dropped, says James. And maybe the Irish, they drink too much beer and eat too many potatoes. Should focus on some good fats and proteins, says Stefan. Or they've just been outplayed. I think it's probably the easier way of looking at it. I don't think we need to break down their dietary requirements to decide whether or not they could have won this game if they had eaten more steak. And we have got there. The scary thing is Ireland has no young forward stepping up. They have no chance of 2027 to WLK. Now James Ryan spitting out of one. OMG, let's go France. 7-1 gang, says 9HD. And they deserve it, says Brian. Now back to the right-hand side here. Beard goes across to James Ryan again. The French crowd are singing the national anthem. And how are the crowd looking gloomy? We're not really hearing many Irish supporters. We're hearing the French anthem loud and proud, though. Big tackle made again by Gigot. And 2 olds is reflecting trees, and that is going to be the penalty. On the way of the Irish. Have France ever outplayed England like this, says Katzenau? Not that I can remember anyway, and not normal play for Ireland, but fantastic France, says Nadine. And I think Ireland have conceded 40 for the first time since 2003 in the Six Nations. So that is a massive one. Biel Barry is the man of the match. No Dupont at the Aviva. Terrible for Ireland, says Otto. Ireland don't look like scoring, says Dom. And France are champions. They have huge points difference at the moment. Yeah, it's going to be over 100 points differential for them compared to all the other sides who are sitting around probably 10 or 15. I leave to get a drink and they conceded more points, says Boy. Now 5 metres out from the line, Ireland. Playing for pride. Playing for the chance. Oh, what a try. Cian Healy. It's not going to mean too much in terms of the outcome of this game, but it's going to mean a lot to a veteran who is going to be hanging up the Irish boots. Prendergast kicks it over, but in his 137th cap, Cian Healy gets his 13th try. Out of all the Irish players to score late, I think a lot of people would be glad it was him. And great job, Le Bleu, says Victor. Great finish from the veteran. Now Ireland, I think, need to develop the other provinces. I think they relied on Leinster too much, says James. We should also mention, like, Ireland, up till this stage of the Six Nations, was undefeated. Like, with the exception of this game, they look pretty good to have a chance at the Six Nations. So, like, one loss in a Six Nations comp, I feel like, yes, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, you know, this Irish side, you look at a few of the other games, that was an early tackle from Damien Pinot. Actually tackled him almost before he had the ball. But, like, they'll bounce back. They'll have to find a way anyway. Looks like Pinot's actually hurt himself by going with the early tackle. I'm an Irish fan, by the way, says James. And my prediction was France 38, Ireland 24. I was close, says Cameron. All right, France once again looking for a steal in the breakdown. They've been told to leave it alone. Caelan Doris with a pick and go. 2 minutes remaining on the clock now. About 25 minutes until that next live stream will be starting that we are covering, ladies and gents. Cross kick. Ball sets up. Conan waits for the bounce and does get it. Panikin intercepts. So what's next? On your Cian Healy. Good on you, brother, says Seki there. Now Ramos does kick it down the middle of the field. Pinot is still getting back after that injury. Looking for the 50-22 now for the Irish, and I believe they have got it. Will this mean that Prendergast is probably not? Like, with the exception of that rough pass there, like, he still had, I think, a relatively decent-ish game. But yeah, I think that the last thing Ireland want to do is start scrambling and think, right, we have to change 50 things for our next contest. Because that's normally when you can end up losing back-to-back because you go a little bit too much. But yeah, they certainly, like we said, they haven't had the best game. France have outplayed them throughout this match, but Ireland will have to find a way back. They were 3 wins in a row heading into this contest. They've done it before. They'll try and do it again. Now Crowley goes across to Prendergast. Oh, I cut out pass. That one was perfect. Goes straight to Jamie Osborne. We get 2 magic tries. We might get a bonus point. That is true. So if Ireland score now, they might even turn down the chance of taking the 3. But Murray, they've got 30 seconds left on the clock. Or sorry, the 2 points, I should say. Henshaw tackled again. Ball's there. The turnover is good for Gigot, so he will once again ruin this moment for the Irish. These games affect the rankings. France go to 3rd, Ireland go to 4th. But the penalty now goes the way of the Irish. Only 9 seconds remaining, so I don't believe they can. Oh, 1 second, no. That's going to be the full-time siren, or is it? I think that they will. Oh. Right, what's the go here? They scored pretty much right on the 80-minute siren. That'll be their 3rd try, so that makes the score look a little bit more presentable. But at the same time, is that full time? Or can they go for one more? Jack Conan, the man who did manage to score it. Ireland kind of look like they're walking back to halfway, so I think there is enough time for one more reset. Or is there? No, sorry. It looks like, no, Prendergast is still lining up this kick, so this will be the end of the game. And the Irish, they will be defeated 42 points to 27. So a 15-point win for the French. Definitely not as bad as it could have been for the Irish. They'll be disappointed. And the door is now wide open for the French to win the Six Nations competition. We have got there might not be time for a restart, says Brian. Yeah, there isn't. So that's the end of the game. 42 points to 27. To win by 15 up against the Irish is a big achievement, but to win by 15 in Ireland is just that little bit bigger. But 23 minutes till our next live stream does start. That will be the one between Scotland and Wales. We are going to be covering it on the channel as well. So anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. But Biel Barry getting himself man of the match. The talking points. What is the Dupont injury looking like? And also, what happens heading into this final round? All France need to do now is beat Scotland and they will win the Six Nations. So that is the big task for next week. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all in about 20 or so minutes.